It's officially here, guys. The reprint of Destined Rival booster boxes that was never supposed to happen. If you've been thinking about buying or selling Destined Rivals, you might want to watch this video before you make your decision. You've seen distribution now announced it's here. Destined Rivals ETBs and booster boxes are in full effect and they're being allocated to shops. Now, the thing to take away from this is that the reprint that's coming from distribution is not large. Sorry, booster boxes. It's not great. ETBs, all day. All day the ETBs are flowing. But the issue is it's a very small allocation. I've spoken with a few friends who have distribution, and I'm going to be honest, guys, the allocation for the Destined Rivals reprint is not big whatsoever. One of my close friends who has distribution received 1 case of booster boxes. That's it. That's it. And he received 1 case of ETBs. That was it. They're allowed to order once a week, but the thing is, after the week, it's usually done. It's usually just like that 1 week wave. That's all they get. Interesting thing is, a lot of people seem to be under the impression that just because you have distribution, you're getting these below MSRP. It's not the case. It's not the case. These booster box reprints that are right now, they're $300 that the stores are having to pay up front. So it's a $300 cost. These are not the traditional first wave of a brand new set. You often see those prices at like $80 to $120 for a brand new set. Reprints? Nope. Reprints, no. They're paying $300 a box for this reprint. Now, the interesting thing we can see with the price charting here is that at the end of May, these were going for $650, which is just absolutely mind-blowing for a modern Pokemon set, okay? You can get a Sword and Shield set for $650. That is out of print. Think Silver Tempest. Think Brilliant Stars. Those are about the same prices. They are out of print. They're 3-4 years old at this point. Destined Rivals is going for the same price, which is just staggering to me. Regardless, end of May, over $600. News of the reprint hit, and we start to see it dip down a little bit. What we see now is that they're going for $430 market. Now, why does this matter at all? Well, I think for starters, I think a lot of people can agree Destined Rivals is set to be one of the greatest sets of the modern era from Scarlet and Violet. We're talking non-specialty sets. I know Paldean Fates is phenomenal, 151 is phenomenal, Prismatic is... So now we're talking about. We're not talking about specialty sets without booster boxes. Modern non-special sets with booster boxes. Destined Rivals, in my opinion, is the #1 set from the Scarlet and Violet era. And to see these boxes shoot so high while they're still in print tells me that these boxes are going to be very expensive in the future. The demand for this product is there. The last time we saw a booster box go this strong was Evolving Skies. It was $600 at one point, and then before we knew it, it was $2,000. Then now where it's sitting at about $2,500. Another prime example, Fusion Strike. Was very cheap in the beginning. Destined Rivals, not so cheap in the beginning. Everyone kind of knew it was going to be a hot set. Regardless, Fusion Strike blew up out of the water. It was sitting at $150. Then before you know it, it was $300, then $500. Now it's $900. That's what happens with these things. They just skyrocket once there's news that hits. With this reprint that hit for the Destined Rivals booster boxes, it is very clear to me that $430, $400 is probably the lowest you are going to see these booster boxes go for. Now, I know there is a large camp of people who believe I will only buy at MSRP. I refuse to buy anything higher than MSRP. I get it. I get it. I was very fortunate to grab a couple booster boxes at MSRP myself. So I do not like paying more money for a booster box. But if you want a position in Destined Rivals, $400 is probably going to be one of, if not the cheapest amount you can get it for. Can it go to $350? Maybe. Do I see it getting to $300? Realistically, probably not. I'm going to be very honest. I don't see it getting that low. If it does, I would be buying cases of it. Now, the fun thing about sealed collections is if you had a couple at a lower price point, you can dollar cost average your position essentially. So let's say you had bought one for $200, you had bought one just now for $400. Your effective cost for both of them is $300. So just a little way to make you feel a little bit better when you're looking at it. Dollar cost averaging helps a lot. So you're not feeling like you're bearing all the brunt up front. We've seen reprints hit before, And we know what happens because this has happened multiple times with multiple sets. Reprints get announced. Product hits the shelf. No one can get product at a decent price because bots and scalpers and everyone else just suck it all up. And while the price is going down, the product's slowly dwindling away. These reprints aren't massive, as we can tell from what distribution is telling us by their allocation numbers. So what happens then? Well, if you don't buy when it's low, it's just gonna skyrocket again. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Modern sets are printed 2, maybe 3 times before they are done. Okay, sets are only in rotation for 2 to 3 years. Prismatic is a prime example of a set that, because of the rotation patterns, it's not going to be printed for very long. Prismatic is going to have the shortest print life. Not to talk about something completely different here, just as an example, Prismatic will have the shortest print life of any modern set. Okay, it's only going to be around, Prismatic goes out of, it's done. It's done next March or April. That's it. There's no more reprints. Okay, Destined Rivals came out 6 months later. So Destined Rivals is going to be out a little bit longer than Prismatic, but they have so many sets that they need to print. We just recently got the second wave of Perfect Order. I know Perfect Order isn't a high demand set, but they traditionally do 2 waves of every set. And 7 months later, we just got the second wave. That's all to say that they are behind on printing. They pushed a lot of this off because they were mass printing for the 30th anniversary. And we will make another video talking about the 30th anniversary. 100% we will, because I have a lot to say about the 30th anniversary. Spoiler, there's going to be a lot of product. But what they had to do because of that was they had to push off printing of a lot of other sets. There is Black Bolt, White Flare. We have not seen a massive reprint of that at all that they need to get to. We just got Perfect Order reprints. They are behind. Am I saying we will never see another reprint of Destined Rivals booster boxes? No, it is always possible. What am I doing in this moment? Well, when I look at a box that was $650 3 months ago, now selling for $420, $430 because of a reprint, I'm buying. It's as simple as that. I can buy something I want to hold for long term for 30% off. It's all-time high. Yeah, that's a buy all day. That's a no-brainer. That's a slam dunk to me. Not to mention, I was fortunate to get some boxes at MSRP. So you know I'm dollar cost averaging those. Now, if I'm buying, it is strictly to hold long term. Now, I know a lot of people don't like holding long term. A lot of people have things come up in their life where they can't hold long term and they need to sell some of their position off. I get that. Believe me, it's happened to me more than on one occasion where I need to sell off X amount of product to offset something in my life. Maybe a credit card bill, maybe a car issue, whatever it is, right? But if I am trying to hold long term, 5, 10 years, this is a great price to buy in. Now, if I'm vending at a card show, would I take this box in an attempt to move it for a higher price and make a small margin on it? Completely honest, I would not. I actually don't like buying sealed at shows for small percentage gains. It's not my favorite. Does sealed move at shows? It can. It definitely can. It depends on where you live, your market, and your area overall. I've sold a ton of sealed at shows. I've sold no sealed at shows. It really goes back and forth. But if I buy a box for $350 and try and sell it for $420, is it possible that it moves? Yes. Is that a high price point for a lot of people at card shows that mainly just might want to look through a binder and see some, $3, $4, $5 cards? Also, yes. You're looking for a very specific buyer for this as a vendor, and you might not find it. Now, the reason why I'm hesitant as a vendor to buy this and try and sell it at my table is because I'm tying up capital, right? I'm just throwing out $350 here. Let's say I bought it for $350 in an attempt to sell it for $420. I just tied up $350 in hopes that something sells because we're not holding it long term. I believe that there is a much better way as a vendor to spend $350. I would much rather buy $350 worth of singles, of lower end slabs, think like $100 to $200 range. Modern illustration rares, modern SIRs, full arts, binder cards. That stuff sells a lot better at card shows that are much easier to move than a booster box that's gonna sit and tie up $350. Now, the nice thing about vending is if you don't need the cash or the liquidity right now, let's say you have a job, maybe that helps fund, some of your card show vending activities, you can just sit on this box for a while. If you don't need that $350 initial investment or capital, you can just leave it at your table. And guess what? Once the reprint dries up next month, for example, the box is gonna go up. Now your $350 investment turns to $500 or $550 or $600, which is pretty nice. But a lot of people aren't in that position. They can't afford that $350 capital tie-up, which I get. I don't like doing it either. But if you can, and you have the money to back it up, by all means, buy it and hold it, sell it when it gets a little bit higher. You don't have to hold it for 5 or 10 years. Hold it for 3-4 months. Then when the wintertime hits, the market's hot again, you just made some money on it. Not a bad idea. Suffice it to say, this is a great product, and I think $400 is a great entry point for one of the top booster boxes of the Scarlet and Violet era in a time where we are not seeing reprints of booster boxes at all for modern sets. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys are doing with Destined Rivals right now, whether you're buying, selling, or holding. Don't forget to hit the subscribe or like button, leave a comment, and I will catch you guys in the next one.